So it's December 13th, 2020 in Hillsborough, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 22, about the Katyayani Vrat, text 22. So just a note on the Sanskrit, when the Visarga, that's the H with a dot under it, when it happens in the middle of the line, you don't add an extra syllable, it just becomes kind of breathy. And I have a hard time figuring out how to say that. At the end of the line, you add an extra syllable. And you add an extra vowel, which whatever vowel comes before the Visarga. So if it's the Roman letter A without a line over it, it's like a short U, like bus, like and then it becomes aha. But when it's the Roman letter A with a long line over it, then it's and it becomes aha. So aha is plural and aha is singular. And here, because we're talking about many gopis, they're all hapitaha, karitaha, nivritaha. So it's not hapitaha and karitaha and nivritaha. That would make it singular instead of plural. But I have Sanskrit expert friends who can pronounce the Visarga in the middle of the line. They just have a breathiness to it. But I'm not able. It doesn't add a syllable, but it adds this. You can hear it, but I can't do it. I've tried and I failed. I've also tried for the meter for this verse. I spent about 10 minutes yesterday working on the meter of this verse. It was easy for the first two lines and very difficult for the third and fourth line. Yeah, because I was really struggling with when you have the Y like that, it goes to the next word. And as soon as I did that, the syllabication went off. So, I tried and tried and tried. So this is not going to be very good. A New Yorker trying to say Sanskrit. Tridam palabdas chapaya chahabitaha. Prasto bita kridanavach chakaritaha. Vastrani chaipa, this is what was killing me. Vastrani chaiva paritan yatapyan. It doesn't work. I can't get it to work. Unless I have to just say the Y is like it's an E, which is not really the right way to do it. So I'm just going to do that. Vastrani chaiva paritani atapiyamun. Yeah, I can't. It doesn't work. Ta nam yasuyan priya sangha nivritaha. So have at it. Good thing going back to Godhead doesn't depend on proper Sanskrit pronunciation. Dridam, thoroughly. Palabdaha, cheated. Trapaya, of their shame. Cha, and. Hapitaha, deprived. Prastobitaha, laughed at. Kridanavat, just like toy dolls. Cha, and. Kaditaha, made to act. Vastrani, their clothing. Cha, and. Eva, indeed. Aparitani, stolen. Ataapi, nevertheless. Amun, towards him. Taha, they. Na abhyasunan, did not feel inimical. Priya, of their beloved. Sangha, by the association. Nivritaha, joyful. Translation: although the gopis had been thoroughly cheated, deprived of their modesty, ridiculed, and made to act just like toy dolls, and although their clothing had been stolen, they did not feel at all inimical towards Sri Krishna. Rather, they were simply joyful to have this opportunity to associate with their beloved. Purport. Srila Prabhupada comments, this attitude of the gopis is described by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he prays, "My dear Lord Krishna, you may embrace me or trample me under your feet, or you may make me broken-hearted by never being present before me. Whatever you like you can do, because you have complete freedom to act. But in spite of all your dealings, you are my Lord eternally, and I have no other worshipful object." This is the attitude of the gopis towards Krishna. So I wanted to look at Sanatana Goswami's commentary. O king, see the greatness of their prema. Or speaking of Krishna's ability to bewilder, Sukadev speaks to the girls as if he has some hatred for the Lord. He made them act like puppets because they were happy to associate with him, or they became happy along with him. I'm going to Jiva Goswami. How he spoke to them is described. He treated them like dolls. They became blissful by his association, or rather, they became blissful even in his association. Ah, see the glory of deep prema. So, the most enjoyable thing for anyone is love. And even though in this world we are cheated in our love over and over and over and over, whether it's love for parents, for children, for brothers and sisters, for friends, for romantic partners, for spouses, for animals, for country, for whatever, we're cheated over and over and over and over again. We still all believe in love and want love, isn't it? Because it's the most enjoyable thing. So you see, I'm sure we all know of people who've been married like 5, 6, 7 times. Right? Why? Because that we want love. No matter how much we're hurt, how much we've been through, right? We want love. And it's really telling. This was something that my daughter Chambakalata said to me some time ago, and it really struck me. There's a presentation I have on Krishna's returning to Ras Leela and the different kinds of loving reciprocation. The gopis name 3 types of relationships. Krishna expands that into 9. And he ends up saying, Naparyeham, I cannot repay you. Let your own service, let your own love be its reward. And what does that mean? And Champaka and I were talking about this maybe a couple years ago. That lust is when I'm loving someone because I want something from them. We all know what that's like on a gross level. If someone's nice to us because they think that we're going to do something for them, that maybe we have some power or position that we can use in their favor, or we're going to give them some money, or or even we're going to give them a nice meal, or we're going to give them some kind of praise, or something we're going to do for them. We're going to make them feel good. And we all know that that feels kind of dirty, isn't it? When someone's nice to us because they want something from us, unless it's an open business relationship. You know, that's very different. If you're working in a shop and someone comes and they're nice to you because they want to buy something from you, then we all know that there's not really any love involved. Yeah? But we tend to do this to others, even though it feels dirty when it's done to us, that we deal with people because we want something from them. And the way we know this is when we don't get what we want, we become angry or sad or disappointed or bitter or something like that. And we see this even in the Hare Krishna movement, that people will, you know, they'll dedicate their youthful years to the movement and they'll do this and do that. And then when they don't get treated the way they expected to get treated, they become very bitter and very critical. You know? Yes, we've seen this. And we see it between devotees. We see it between disciples and guru. Yeah, right? I've seen it. I've seen it with some of your disciples here. That, you know, people deal with, not anyone who's here right now. In the past, I lived here a long time ago. That's truthful. I'm not just saying that. So we see that people, they'll say, oh, Gurudev, oh, Gurudev, oh, Gurudev. And when the guru doesn't treat them emotionally the way they want, then after a while they hate the guru. Yes, right? Isn't it? You didn't give me what I wanted. Yeah? So it's interesting that although we really dislike people dealing with us that way, we still deal with others that way. So that's the nature of lust that masquerades as love. But even then, we all want real love, and real love is happy with loving. Real love means that what you're satisfied with is your feeling of love and your feeling of giving. And the other person's reciprocation or lack of it or their kind of reciprocation is irrelevant. It's just irrelevant. Now, we all do that sometimes in this world. You know, just like I was brought up in Judaism and I was taught from the Bible that when you give in charity, your right hand or your left hand shouldn't know what your right hand is doing. I forget which hand isn't supposed to know what the other hand is doing, but one of the hands isn't supposed to know what the other hand is doing. And Jesus talks about this. He says, don't advertise your piety. So many times when we give in charity, like right now at Christmas time, all these charities are pushing, right, on social media. I keep seeing advertisements for different charities. And generally the recipients of the charity don't know that you gave to them, right? Isn't it? Right? If you're giving to some poor child in Yemen who's starving, or you're providing for somebody's, you know, dental surgery in Somalia or something, that person doesn't know who the donor is. You're not getting something back from that person. What are you getting? You're just getting the feeling inside of, wow, I did something to help somebody else. And that feeling that's inside is sufficient. So we have a little glimpse of that even in this world. And real love is like that. Real love is that the happiness that I've given somebody else is sufficient. Whether they acknowledge it or how they acknowledge it or what, it's irrelevant. I'm satisfied with my own love. And Krishna feels like that toward the jivas. It's not just that the jivas feel like that towards Krishna. Krishna feels like that toward the jivas. Suridam sarvabhutanam. He's everybody's best friend. And a lot of us don't treat him very nicely. Isn't that a fact? I don't know about all of you, but I don't treat Krishna very nicely, or I wouldn't be in the material world with a material body. You know, I'm often unaware of his presence and often ungrateful for his presence. I'm just like dull-brained. You know, that he's the air and he's the light and he's that, and I'm just like going on with my life. Oh yeah, I'm doing this. And he's showering me with gifts constantly, just constantly, and showering me with love, and I'm just kind of dull, like a stone or something. What to speak of people who are actually inimical to Krishna? You know, I'm sure I've spent many lifetimes being inimical to Krishna. And Krishna still loves the living entity. He's satisfied with his love toward them. In fact, the only reason that we exist is that Krishna is so happy with love that he just wants to share it. And so he expands. As Swamsam Vibhinansa, he expands just so he can share this joy and this love. Just like you're talking about getting a lot of money. What would you do with it? You would share it. Isn't it? Isn't that what we would do if we all had a lot of money, if we were as rich as Bezos? Please, I don't want to be as rich as Bezos. But if we were as rich as, what would we do? You know, we would share it. We would do massive prasadam distribution and temples and book publishing and kirtans and festivals. Isn't it? Right? Or when a Purva makes a nice prep, he wants as many people as possible to taste it. Right? There's a lot of people here that will say, Urmila, I'm the one cooking today. What's the message? I want to share. Isn't it? Right? So Krishna's like that, and the living entity's like that. So this whole thing happening between Krishna and the gopis is Krishna's trying to please them, and they're trying to please him. And I wanted to go back to the word Yogeshwara Ishvara. I think Jistapu, you spoke on that verse. Yogeshwara Ishvara. So that Krishna knows, and to prepare for this class, I listened 3 or 4 times to Prabhupada's dictation of this chapter in Krishna book. That Krishna knew the minds and the hearts of these jivas, what they wanted. And so Krishna's perfectly giving them what they want. That what's going on externally is not, it's not what's actually happening. Krishna's giving them exactly what they want. So let's think of who these gopis are. So the gopis that are doing this Katyayani Vrat are primarily sadhana siddha gopis. Now the acharyas say on this last day the nitya siddha gopis also come. But they're primarily sadhana siddha gopis. This is persons who have achieved perfection through sadhana. And it's explained by our acharyas that one achieve perfection either individually or in groups. So there's 2 main groups of sadhana siddha gopis. Who are they? The sages that met Ram in the forest of Namasharanya and the personified Vedas. So let's think about this for a minute. So a sage who meets Ram in the forest, not Namasharanya, sorry, Dandaka forest, in the Dandaka forest. So Ram personifies particularly the Dhirodatta quality, that Ram is the hero. And he's very much into dharma. And he's so into dharma that when his father makes a promise to Kaikeyi, Ram goes into exile for 14 years so his father won't be a liar. He's so much into dharma that when Sita enters into the earth, I mean, his Ekpatni Vrata wasn't one wife until she dies. No, it was one wife, period. She enters into the earth and he makes a deity of her for the yagyas. He's so into dharma that if anybody is feeling critical of him, he'll sacrifice his relationship with his wife and unborn children in order to be the perfect king. This is his mood of dharma. So the sages are seeing Ram, and they have this interest, they have this awakening of a desire for a romantic relationship with Ram. What he offers to them is to have that relationship with Krishna, but Krishna in Vrindavan, not Krishna in Dwarka. Not as queens, not as married Swakiya Bhav. Think about the personified Vedas. They literally are the personification of Dharma. You know, we've talked a lot about how, and Mars has talked a lot about how these young girls were brought up in a culture where girls would not walk around immodestly dressed, what to speak of naked in front of a boy. But it's not just that culture. We're looking at, you know, you're a personified Veda for like millions or billions of years, that you have that role. You know, you are the Shastra. Interesting, huh? You actually are the Shastra as a person. So they're very into Dharma. At the same time, they have a desire for a conjugal relationship with Krishna in Vrindavan. Like Rupa Goswami explains that if you have a desire for Shringara Ras or conjugal Ras or Madhurya Bhav with Krishna, but it's not specific, you become a queen in Dwarka. Yes? right? Nectar devotion. You go the married, the dharmic. You'll have a dharmic relationship with God as his bride. So like the Christian mystics that talk about Madhurya Bhav, I've only read where they talk about it in that sense, as being the spouse of the Lord, as being the wife of God, being married to God. But the gopis' relationship with Krishna is very, very different. In fact, Krishna, the original form of God, is very different. He's not displaying godness. The King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and King of Kings, and the perfect follower of all of the rules of morality. I mean, speaking for myself, sometimes when I read these pastimes where Krishna's lying and cheating to the gopis, I've gotten upset. I mean, I remember reading one of the Goswami's literature, where Krishna says to one gopi, okay, I'll meet you over there at noon, and then he doesn't show up. It's just how he gets rid of her, and then he goes and meets with someone else. And I remember when I read about it, I actually got upset. And I'm like, I don't want to worship some God who's lying. In this world, if someone did that, I really wouldn't hang out with them. I'd say, hey, this is not somebody that I want to deal with. But this is the mood of Vrindavan. The mood of Vrindavan is not according to ordinary dharma. And think about this relationship Krishna has with the gopis. It's not even an open boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Like right now in 2020, you can be openly in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, right? You can take your girlfriend out to the restaurant. You can introduce your girlfriend to your parents. You can buy your girlfriend jewelry. This is not like that. Even the unmarried gopis, it's completely closed. When Radharani's accidentally wearing a necklace that Krishna's given her, it's a scandalous thing. Nobody can know it's going on. I mean, everyone sort of kind of knows it's going on, but nobody can know it's going on. The gopis are ostensibly, most of them, married to somebody else. Or they're not married to anybody at all. And like the gopis say to Krishna when they come to the Ras Leela, we're not even your maidservants. You don't even pay us. Usually if you have a girlfriend, you give her something. You give her jewelry, you give her flowers, you give her something. Whatever Krishna gives the gopis, they have to leave in the forest. He'll make them flower ornaments. They can't wear it home. And they can't show him off. If you have a boyfriend, you want to show, this is my boyfriend. Especially if he's a really cool boyfriend. If he's like, you were talking about the gallant, right? That's the dear Prasanta, the gentleman. Look at my boyfriend. He's the most handsome. He's the strongest. He's the most gentleman. They can't do that. They can't. Even these gopis were hesitant to tell each other that they were in love with Krishna. So what kind of a relationship is this? It's really a secret, 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 secret. It's a secret upon a secret upon a secret. And then they do things like playing dice games and drinking honey wine. I mean, it's pretty outrageous, actually. This is not the form of the Lord for those who want on reverence and godlike. Therefore, like Bhishma, he knew about the gopis, but he wanted to go to Vaikuntha. And you find that, like in South India, they know about the gopis. They glorify the gopis, but they're mostly interested in Vaikuntha. And when Gopakumar goes to Vaikuntha and he's saying, hey, Gopal, the residents of Vaikuntha say, no, don't call him Gopal. Village boy, it's not respectful. So not everyone is attracted to Krishna's intimate Leela. Some people would rather be in Ram Leela, or rather be in Vaikuntha, or even rather be in Dwarka and be a, Paka Dharmic wife of Krishna and have all these first-class children. I was just reading a couple days ago in Bhagavatam all the names of Krishna's children by his principal wives. And then you have a palace with Krishna, and you get to go to functions with Krishna, and you have your wonderful children with Krishna. So there are people there are souls who want that. So these individuals, they're attracted to Krishna in conjugal rasa, and they're attracted to Krishna in Vrindavan, in Parakiya Bhav. And as Maharaj said the other day, this is a test. Do you really want Parakiya Bhav? Are you willing to break ordinary dharma? It was hard for them, actually. You know, they're staying in the water and they're shivering. Of course, they're shivering in ecstasy. And then when they come out, they're trying to cover themselves. You know, it was hard to take that step and say, yes, we're actually going to enter into Parakiya Bhav. But that's what they wanted. And Krishna, as Yogeshwara Ishvara, he knew, this is what you want. Let me bring you here. Because they're praying to Katyayani for Krishna to be their husband. But Krishna doesn't exactly become their husband. Okay, we can say in Gopal Champu, he becomes their husband on the other side of the Yamuna. And we can say in Lalita Madhava, at least the Acharyas say that doesn't happen all the time, that not every time are the queen's expansions of the gopis. But at least sometimes it can happen that the gopis expand and become the queens in Dwarka, and they can get Krishna as their husband in that way. And they have lots of pretend weddings. They often have pretend weddings out in the forest. But it's not exactly that Krishna is going to become their husband. Like we're about to come to a verse where Krishna says, I'll be your husband next year in Kartik when they dance. But he doesn't really become their husband. He becomes their paramour. So Krishna is reciprocating with that desire for Parakiya Bhav. And our acharyas are very clear. Anyone who has a desire for conjugal rasa in Parakiya Bhav has to follow the example of the gopis. The gopis. Otherwise, you just go to Dwarka and become Krishna's queen. And the example of the gopis is they're willing to give up ordinary dharma. Now, this shouldn't be taken, that, okay, let's give up ordinary dharma in our life right now. Let's have all kinds of adulterous affairs and drink wine and steal and lie and cheat. Let's do that now. No. And we see that these gopis, again, they're really hesitant to take this step. Because the ultimate dharma is what pleases Krishna. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. This is something the gopis, as the highest example of prema bhaktas, are understanding. That the highest expression of dharma is not just the moral codes, but it's love for Krishna. And in the highest expansion of love for Krishna, it looks like it's breaking moral code. How can it be breaking moral codes if it's with the supreme absolute truth? How can Krishna be lying when he's param sattvam? He's the supreme truth. He can't be lying. It's an oxymoron. The one from whom dharma emanates, the one who is dharma, cannot be doing anything adharmic. It doesn't even make sense. The whole meaning of dharma is Krishna. The whole meaning of truth is Krishna. So it appears that he's lying. It appears that he's cheating from a mundane perspective. But he's not. He's giving them exactly what they want. They want Krishna as Dhira Lalita and a little bit of Dhira Datta. They don't just want Dhira Datta and Dhira Prasanta. They want all four. They want Krishna as the bad boy, Dhira Datta. And as the joking boy, Dhira Lalita, who steals their clothes. Oh, you want to marry me? Okay. Come out naked. No. We're your servants. We're your servants. Don't treat us like this. Well, if you're my servants, then I'm telling you, come out naked. Then you have to do it. Oh. Okay. And then they do it and they're like, oh, Krishna's accepted me. They're just so happy. They don't feel that they've been cheated. They don't feel like that at all. They feel like they got exactly what they wanted. Yogeshwara Ishvara, oh, he knew my heart. He gave me exactly what I wanted. I mean, the paraki above by nature is full of apparent cheating and lies and subterfuge. Isn't it? Isn't that kind of the nature of the relationship? The swakya is not like that. The married relationship is not like that. But this relationship is. And if that's not what you want, then that's not what you want. Krishna is going to give the jiva what they want. You know, even in Vrindavan, not everybody wants that. Some jivas want to be cowherd boys. Some jivas want to be, you know, in parental mood. Some jivas want to be cows. Some jivas want to be trees. It's not that everybody wants to be one of the gopis in Paraki above. And Krishna gives everybody what they want. But if this is what they want, this kind of relationship, this kind of taste, so Krishna is giving them that. Why? Because he wants them to be happy. You know, like has been said many times in class, you know, in the ordinary life, if somebody did this, it would be abusive to say treated you like a doll. But again, even in this world, don't romantic partners speak to each other in this way? Like, it always strikes me, people call their beloved baby. You know, it's so weird. It's so weird. And it's not just men with women, women with men. The women will call their beloved men, hey, baby. I'm like, baby? Why are you calling him a baby? You know, and to say for a man to say to a woman, oh boy, you're a doll. It's a term of endearment. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, what? But it's a term of endearment. I mean, I remember my mother was always into Broadway musicals, and one of them was called Guys and Dolls. I don't remember what it was about, don't ask me. But these are terms of endearment. So the gopis aren't thinking, oh, he's using us like some kind of object for his sense gratification. No. Krishna is testing them. Is this what you want? You said husband, but, you know, do you want husband? Or do you want paraki above? That's what you want. That's what you're saying you want. Do you want it? Because if that's what you want, then I'll give that to you in full. And the gopis are thinking, we want to give Krishna what he wants. And Krishna's thinking, I want to give the gopis what they want. That's all that it's about. And each is full of this love. Krishna is so happy and pleased to see that these jivas who did their sadhana for millions and billions of years to enter into this relationship with him, when he offers it to him, they want it. You know, that doesn't always happen. There's a story explained in the Chaitanya Bhagavat when Mahaprabhu is giving everyone benedictions. Yes, and there's a story where he doesn't want to see Mukunda. He says sometimes you associate with impersonalists. And then he says, Mukunda can see me after 10 million births. And Mukunda starts dancing, and then Mahaprabhu says, okay, bring him in right now. Then there's this conversation between Mukunda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu where Mukunda is saying, seeing you is not the point, serving you is the point. And Mukunda gives all these examples of persons who saw the Lord, like different demons who saw the Lord but didn't serve the Lord. And then Lord Chaitanya tells this incredible story. He says, there was this man who, for I think it was lifetimes, was doing austerities. I want to see God, 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 I want to see God. And he becomes a washerman in Mathura. And Krishna and Balaram come in front of him. Here we are. Now service. Now love. Give us the clothes. I'm not going to give you the clothes. They're for Kamsa. I have experience of people taking the king's clothes and getting arrested. You wonder what his experience was. But anyway, so he says that, and Krishna just went, cut off his head. Because he was saying, I want God, I want God, I want God, I want. Here I am. No, I don't want you. So this is a test. I want to love you in Vrindavan as one of your romantic partners. Okay. Is that what you want? And so they're very happy. Everyone here is just overflowing with the joy of pleasing their beloved and getting their ultimate desires. And that's what we're really looking for. That's when we serve our country, when we serve a company, when we serve somebody in our family, whatever. We're looking for this. We're looking for this satisfaction. And this is the highest level of that satisfaction. So questions, comments? Yes. So therefore you'd rather worship Krishna than Ram. Well, therefore you'll probably go to Vrindavan and not Ayodhya. Well, there you go. So it sounds like your destination is Goloka Vrindavan, Maharaj. I mean, of course, we can expand and be in more than one Leela at once. But in the spiritual world in Ayodhya, don't worry. In the spiritual world in Ayodhya, the Ram never banishes Sita. So if you expand and you're with Ram in Ayodhya, then he never does that. They're just together. You don't have to worry about it. They're just together all the time. To Dharma, yeah. It was a hindrance. Yes. That's the lower Dharma and the higher Dharma. It's like, where did the lower Dharma come from? It comes from God. So if God himself is saying, do something that normally we don't do, and if you say, well, I have to do what you normally tell me to do, then you're more attached to the rule, and you're more attached, honestly, to your ego of being a good person than you are attached to God. But there are worshipers of the Lord who are so happy that the Lord is going to uphold Dharma in all circumstances. That's the mood that they have. And they're thinking, all glories to my Lord, who's willing to sacrifice his love for his wife and his love for his unborn children for the sake of righteousness. And, we're like, can't you make love supreme? What is the righteousness supreme? But that is that mood, and so Ram is there to reciprocate with that mood of the devotees. That they're Sanatana Goswami explains, I think it's in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, that Krishna has unlimited qualities and there's unlimited jivas, and each jiva is attracted to a particular quality of the Lord. So there are many jivas who are attracted to this kind of quality of the Lord, that he's willing to sacrifice everything for righteousness. And other devotees are attracted to that Krishna is willing to sacrifice apparent righteousness for love. Yes, on a higher level, he's not sacrificing love at all. And on a higher level, Krishna is not sacrificing righteousness for the gopis at all. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dasi Srinapeka Ajipina Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dasi Srinapeka Ajipina Sakala Sahane Valadiya Koro Nijamana Sprihagina Sakala Sahane Valadiya Koro Nijamana Sprihagina Sakale Samana Kurate Shakate Deonata Jata Jata Sakale Samana Kurate Shakate Deonata Jata Jata Tapito Gaibo Harinamasuke Aparada Hoivehata Vito Garibo Harinamasuke Aparada Hoivehata Kapiheno Kripa Lobya Hijana Kritarta Kwevenata Tabiheno Kripa Lobya Hijana Kritarta Kwevenata Shakti Mune Amiyate Den Koromore Atmasata Shakti Buddhen Amiyate Den Koromore Atmasata Yogyata Vichare Kitchunai Poe Nomaraka Runa Sagara Yogyata Vidyare Kitchunai Poi Nomaraka Runa Sara Konana Hoile Kanya Kanya Prananada Kibo Vara Konana Hoile Kanya Kanya Prananada Kibo Vara Gurudev Kripa Benudia Koroe Dasi Trina Pekka Adina Gurudev Kripa Benudia Koroe Dasi Trina Pekka Adina Jayarad Hagulukananda Radha Gulukananda Radha Lokananda Radha Gulukananda Radha Radhe 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvadakacharya also Tada Sitashi Shimad His Divine Grace Savaya Chalananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Goti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Friends, say Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shine Kun Radha Gunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Vajranam Ki Jai Jagantasami Ki Jai Yamunamaya Ki Jai Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Shpadai Krishna Pastai Buddha Shri Navakti Bhattata Swami Namaste Saraswati Nivasesa Sinavadi Pashtadali Shjali. Okay. Gurudev, give this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help, give me strength. Let me be as you are without desires or aspirations. Gurudev, I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. Gurudev, when will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. Gurudev, if you examine me, you will find no good qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Okay, Shikshashtika.